So as my mom mentioned, I wasn't able that night to even go see my dad, and I got a call that Friday night from him saying your dad has fallen, and you have to understand this. That would not be something completely out of the ordinary. We've had conversations before where he's fallen. He's fallen and broken his ankle with me just around him, so it was one of those things where you go, oh okay, oh geez, like, what was silly thing was he doing? Why, so you're more like critical of him initially, going like, oh Christ, what did he get himself into? And I think then the kind of seriousness of the situation when we weren't allowed in the hospital and we weren't hearing from him at all. I think he did at one point have some consciousness and it was angry or maybe even incoherent, but it became the gravity kind of set in that night when we couldn't get any updates on him. And I guess that's how it carried through for me the whole time. So when he was in Kingston, one of the visitation rules were that one visitor was allowed to go every other day. So, and we could only designate one visitor. You couldn't switch the visitors, or else, like, mom could go and then I couldn't go. And if I did, then mom wouldn't be able to go anymore. So, we had to have a conversation where obviously it's her who's going to see him every day, every other day. And that carried on right until he passed away in the following April. So I was able to go, I want to say 3 times. I went initially the night he had his accident. I wasn't allowed in the hospital. We got a hotel room, and I remember, being on the phone with the doctor on speakerphone, mom and I holding hands to see if he was alive or not. And that was, the most kind of communication I ever got from them. So the second time we were able to go around Christmas, and I think it wasn't even a thing out of charity because it was Christmas. I think it was just anytime his situation would deteriorate and they thought that maybe his days were numbered, that's when I was allowed to go. So you were never able to go to just, be there for him in the sense of like, we're here to help you heal and we're here as a family. It was always, we're here for the end. And that became really, really difficult. And the last time I was able to go was when he actually passed. They allowed me to go once on my own. I think we had to fight really hard for me to come and see him on my own. I went and spent the night with him, and I watched a basketball game with him, and he wasn't. You couldn't tell how much awareness of the situation he had, but it was just very difficult with those visitation rules, especially because you don't know what kind of effect you're able to have on him. And I guess what you do is in those visitation rules, you just try to make the absolute most and best of that situation, and you kind of really cherish those brief moments you get to have being there. So I guess I learned to make the best of that bad situation.
I think the other thing too that was difficult during that time. So John spent 5 months in the intensive care unit, and I was able to go every other day, but his team of doctors and nurses changed constantly. So every week there was a new doctor. And it was really hard to get consistent information, and most of the conversations took place standing out in the hall, and they'd move very quickly from one room to the next. So for me to get information and then share that information with Aidan was really difficult. And one of the things that we were able to do, and it took a little while to set this up, and the hospital didn't offer this easily, was we set up I had a weekly meeting with the team and the social worker, and we phoned Aidan, so he was on the phone. So at least we figured out a strategy so we could together get the information at the same time, because it was really difficult for me to hear it and then pass it on to him with any kind of accuracy. And I really needed him to be part of what was going on, so I didn't feel so alone with that.
Yeah, so finding ways to then still be a family through this traumatic experience was really a point of strength, I guess, for us.